So I don't really do videos like this often, but I just passed my driving theory in France, and there's a bunch of things that I wish I would have known before I started. And so I just wanted to make a quick video about that. One, get your NEPH number. You need it. You can't sign up for a theory test without it, and the website I used to get it and to get all the paperwork for it was ANTS. It's a government website. That's number one. Number two is just cover all your bases, learn the theory. People recommend getting books or going to schools. I fundamentally believe all knowledge should be free, and I didn't want to do any of that. So I went through free websites, free apps, and it's a lot more laborious and a lot less well-rounded, but it meant that I passed my driving theory only having paid €30, and that €30 went towards the test. So to me, that was a win. To other people, it might just mean wasting a bit more time, but if you're going to spend that time trying to be involved in the knowledge anyway, why not do it searching out the knowledge that you need to know rather than just having a book in front of you? For me, that works better. And then the third thing that I did was once I thought I'd covered all the practical theory, I started just banging out free tests that I found online. There are a ton of websites, but a lot of them are old knowledge, or they are badly coded because they're free. So some of the questions will come up as wrong, even though they're right, or stuff like that. So I went through and I did as many of them as I could until I found a really good website, and I will link it below, which is free. You just give them their email, and you can just do a bunch of tests. It keeps track of what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and that was super useful. And then what I did is I wrote down all the questions I got wrong physically on a bit of paper, and this is how I revise. And it works for me, it might not work for you, but I just wrote them all down, and I kept writing them down for tests, and then at the end of the week, or when I started to feel frustrated, I went through and I wrote down on a different piece of paper questions I always got wrong, or the questions I didn't remember doing, and then I just threw away all my old pieces of paper and kept going like that. And it took me a month, and it mostly took me a month because 10 days was spent waiting for my NEPH number to come through, because I applied a lot later than I should have. But it meant after a month, almost exactly, I passed my driving theory with 37 out of 40 points. And my French is not that good. It is intermediate at best, but I sort of learned to recognize the words within their context and understand what they meant. And that meant that if there was a question where I didn't understand one of the words, you could kind of read around the word and understand the context it was in. And that was something that it's useful to know. It's frustrating if you don't know a word, but also to pass the theory test, you need 35 out of 40 points. And that means if one or two questions come up where you really don't know what's going on, you can try to guess what it means within the context. Or some schools will let you do it with a translator, but that is not what I did, because I just wanted to get my test over and done with, and I didn't want to have to wait or research where to find a translator or where did that. I know there are places that do that. The place I ended up signing up to did not do that, but there are places that do that. And then, so it took me a month. I only paid €30. I'll link the website that I found really useful in the comments, but there are a bunch of other websites if you're willing to pay for a website or pay for a book. Why not? Do it. I'm sure it will make everything faster, but you don't need to. I didn't. And I got 37 out of 40 points, which I'm really chuffed with. When I sat the actual exam, it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. There was one word that I definitively didn't know, And there was one question that I definitely fucked up because of the time constraints, and I was nervous when I went into the test. But I think if you go in without nerves and go for it and you know your stuff, then you'll be fine. I was averaging between 33 and 39 points on the different quizzes I did on different websites, and I thought, fuck it, I just want to sit it. If I do it, maybe I'll feel more comfortable even if I fail with doing it a second time, and I ended up passing, so it was fine. But yeah, so NEPH number, do your knowledge and then do as many practice tests, because a lot of stuff in the practice tests won't come up in the knowledge that I found online. So yeah, that is kind of that. Last tips, augmenter, diminuer. These are trick words. They're trying to trick you. It's really annoying. But the more annoyed that you get about these kind of questions, the better you'll remember them. So if I was to augmente mon temps de réaction, it means increase my reaction time. And that to me initially meant that I'm faster, but no, because if you're increasing something, it gets bigger. And so if you're increasing your reaction time, it actually means that you're slower to react. So if I was going to augmenter mon temps de réaction, it's actually worse because my reaction time would be larger, and so I would be slower to react. And it's questions like these that you kind of get your head around when you're doing practice tests again and again, and then you'll go like, oh, augmente, they're trying to catch me out, this is what it means, and that's really useful. Also like avant, après, like before, after. These are words that I easily get caught up in because French is not my first language or my second, but you get there by practicing. And yeah, I would say spite really fuels me, and I just got really angry at the tests, and it worked, and here I am. And I didn't pay money for an instructor, and for some reason I'm really proud of that. So if you want to, you can too. And this is just my message to say that I'm sorry it's a rambly video. I don't really do this. You can tell I'm not really comfortable in front of a camera, but yeah, there you go. I didn't find a lot of resources for me. I just wanted to put this out for other people that might be going through the same thing. And if you are, good luck. It will be fine. It's not as hard as it all seems.